everyone, it's Kayla, and today the book we're discussing is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. If you have not read any A Court of Thorns and Roses or whatever, I have a link to my video discussion of the first one down below. You can go and watch it and then come back and see what this one is about before you read it. So I can't really spoil like the storyline because that's kind of from the first video, but in this book we're continuing with Feyre as she adjusts to her immortal life. She's with Tamlin for a little bit. We see some of our character Reese, apparently is his name. I listened to Sarah say his name and it was like Reese or something for his abbreviation, but is his name right? Grycian, so you say Reese? I don't know how to pronounce anything in this book. But this book, man, this book. This is longer than the first one, and I read it in fewer days than the first one, because man, oh my gosh. I hope I find something to read after this that can even top this. I feel like every other book I read this year is just going to pale in comparison to this. And so, if you haven't read this book, go read it and then come back and discuss it together. Although, warning, I forgot to say this for the first book, but it wasn't nearly as bad as the first book. But this is not young adult. This is not like you can read it as a 13-year-old or 15-year-old. You gotta be an adult. There are sex scenes in this, and they're very descriptive. If you've read Empire of Storms, it's worse than that. Just the graphicness and descriptiveness of it. So be aware of that. If you feel like you can handle it, go ahead and read it. But if you think that's maybe a little too old for you, I'd wait a little while and then come back and read it. So bye if you haven't read this book yet. Bye. Alright, guys. Oh my gosh, what the heck. Alright, so firstly, I got so scared towards the end of this book. I was on page 582. We had 40 pages left of the book, and I was freaking out. I had to put the book down because I was like, things are going too well. No, we can't just be planning to attack. This is not going to go smoothly. We're not just going to prance into Hybern and take the cauldron and break the spell and then be done. No, it can't be this easy. Why is it near the end of the book and things are actually okay? Something bad is gonna happen? I had to put down the book and be okay, no, I'm too scared. I can't even read to see what happens. But then I was like, okay, no, I have to finish it. And then, okay, no, I need to put it down. I can't see what happens. Whoa. Frickin' Tamlin. I just want to, oh my gosh. Okay, I need to calm myself real quick. Let's just go back to the beginning of the book. I cried twice in this book, and none of it was at the end. It was all at the beginning, and Tamlin was getting on my last frickin' nerve. He would not let Feyre do anything, and he could not even see that she was basically dying. And Rice had to come in because he's like, okay, something wrong's happening with her. I need to save her out of this. Oh my gosh, the mating bond! Rice knew it when Feyre was still human. Before she even came to Prythian, they were exchanging visions and not even knowing it. And as soon as he saw her at Columni or whatever, the little fire celebration where Tamlin had to replenish the magic, he saw her there and he's like, crap, that's my mate! And it just all went to crap. But I really looked forward to when we got to see Rise. At first I was like, okay, at the end of A Court of Thorns and Roses, I was like, stop, leave them alone, they are gonna be together, you cannot just step in and take her away from Tamlin. But then, as we see the first of the book, I was like, please, get her away from Tamlin. He's suffering her, and he's suffocating her, and she is just causing her to slowly die inside. I really was just crying whenever Tamlin locked her in that palace. I was so done. I was so mad at him. I couldn't believe he couldn't see what he was doing to her, and I was so mad because they would not talk. He would not talk to her. He just slept with her all the time. They had sex all the time, and that's just how they showed their passion and love for each other. But I don't think he really loved her. I think he lusts after her really strongly, but I don't think it's love, and I was really irritated this whole time with him. He would totally just disregard anything she felt, but then at night, it was like, alright, you're mine, let's go have sex. Whenever, as I was saying, whenever Feyre was locked in that palace and her storm was billowing around her, I was just crying. I was just like, stop, y'all need to let her go, you're killing her, and it was just making me so sad because she was so alone. And just as I kept reading, before that, the description of her and how alone she was, and the times when she couldn't even get out of bed and she couldn't even force herself to eat, I was just sobbing because I was so sad for her, and I just wanted her to get out of bed and go do something, and it was so sad. I really liked how Rice was actually teaching her to read and do her mental shields, and it's he's protecting her from himself too. Like, he wants her to be strong and wants her to not be able to have people go in her mind, even against him. He's like, okay, you need to be strong enough to where I can't even do it. And that's awesome because Tamlin was just sort of like, let's not try and do any of those powers. You need to be protected. I really, really changed my mind in this book. Obviously, because Rice and they are our mates now, so it's kind of like, okay, there are no teams. It's just like they're together and that's it. But at the end of A Court of Thorns and Roses, I was sort of leaning towards Tamlin, and just even the first like few chapters of this book, he was being so cruel and so like, oh, you stay over there by yourself sort of thing, that I couldn't even take it. I was so done with him and I was just ready for Feyre to get out of there. I really wonder about Alice in this book because she, I think, is the one that gave Feyre to Mor, and I know that it's because Rice like sensed it. He's like, crap, what is going on? But Mor came and got her, and Alice is like, take care of her. So I think Alice definitely knows what's going on and is not down with it. And she knows that Feyre saved her and her children, and she's not about to like let Tamlin just destroy her. So I was really happy when Alice is like, just take her away from here. She doesn't need to be here anymore. It was perfect. Rice never like pushes her either. He never like, you do this. He lets her do what she wants and sees what she wants to do. And I was really kind of frustrated how she kept comparing Rice to Tamlin. She's like, I'm such a traitor. I can't love Rice. He's so much better than me than Tamlin, but I'm such a traitor for loving him. I'm like, please stop. Like, you're not a traitor. Tamlin is gross and annoying, and I hate him. You need to back off. Amren is super cool. I really like her. She's super fierce, even though we're like not sure what she is. She's really awesome, and I love Mor. Like, Feyre and Mor are just two little like giddy girls gossiping when they're together, and I love it so much. Cassian and Azriel are super amazing too. Like, I just love their whole group. They're like ninja squad. Like, I don't even know. They're awesome, and it was really cool reading their whole family dynamic that they have going on. And they so just wholeheartedly accepted Feyre, and they love how she like makes fun of Rysand all the time, and it was just so cute. I loved whenever her and Rysand were sending back like the little notes that they scribbled back and forth. That just made me so happy. Like, I just look at the book and I'd smile because, oh my gosh, they're super cute. They were so flirty with each other all the time, but then she also would just like call him rude names all the day long, and it was really fun to read. We have a lot of like little battles going on throughout this book, and it was just fun to always have action going on, even in like the duller moments. And I was really sad with Tarkin that we had to take the book from him when he was so nice, but I was also just like, we can amend this, like, we'll get him back on our side, it'll be okay. I thought it was funny how that was it Valerian or whatever, he liked Amren, and she, like, kept the blood ruby that he gave her as, like, a paperweight. So, oh my gosh, these scenes were so steamy in the book. I can't believe that Rysand, like, has to be this totally different person to A Court of Nightmares, but then A Court of Dreamers, he's super chill and nice, and it was so awkward reading that part at the Court of Nightmares when it's, like, he was just, you know, being all flirtatiously and sexual with her, and then we're like, crap, she's feeling it too. It was so, so cool to see Feyre's powers in this book. Like, you don't even realize what power she's taken from other people because we don't know anyone except for our Spring Court and Rice, and so her blood can heal people, which is from the Day Court, I think. It was really, really cool to see her with her little water wolves, like, tearing up the town, and oh my gosh, whenever she winnowed, it's so, so cool. I love the winnowing in this book. It kind of reminds me of Harry Potter when they're like going to each place. And I totally forgot the name for how you do it in Harry Potter. Oh my gosh. But also, whenever her and Rice sort of become just like this flare of darkness, it really reminds me of Voldemort and Death Eaters in Harry Potter. How, especially in, it's Order of the Phoenix, right? Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, Order of the Phoenix, whenever they have this like huge fight scene because they have the little sphere orby thingamajiggy. I'm forgetting everything Harry Potter right now, but whenever they're looking to get Harry's prophecy and they have this huge battle with the Death Eaters, and then the Order of Phoenix is all in light, like when they come, you know, from Juju, and the Death Eaters are all black and they have this like black like spilling around them as they settle down. That's what winnowing reminds me of, and whatever this dark power that Feyre and Rise have, and it's super cool, and I love it. I was so mad when Lucien and his little people came and they're like, Feyre, come on, just come back. I'm like, can you please just stop? And I'm so mad at Lucien for just totally going along with whatever Tamlin says, even though he knows it's wrong. But I still love him. Like, I know that Lucien is okay right now. I just hate Tamlin so much, especially when you go to the King of Hybrid who literally wants to kill you and all your people. And you're like, hey, let's make a deal for this girl that, like, obviously hates me, but I still love her and I want her back. Then we have Feyre's sisters are gonna be put into the cauldron and they're gonna be made Fae, even though they hate Fae. But Nesta, man, whenever Feyre said something was different about Nesta, I think that Nesta's gonna have some superpower and she's gonna be the one that saves them, like maybe along with Feyre, obviously, since Feyre's our main character. But Nesta, man, I wonder what's different because she is a Fae, but Feyre had said that there was something different when she came out. So I wonder what that difference is. And I really liked how she goes into it and she's just pointing at him like, I will get you, like, be afraid, be afraid. Overall in this book, Rice and Feyre were just my favorite. They were so cute together. I just loved them whenever they were talking. And I was mad when she went to that little cottage whenever she found out Rice was her mate. And the whole time she's there, she's like, wow, maybe I shouldn't have run away. He was kind of in the right, like, he couldn't tell me at these points. And I'm like, why don't you go back then? Why are you still sitting here? And then, of course, he comes and she gives him the food, which is really funny, and they make love all the time and just have a ball together. Lucien and Elaine are mated now, so that's going to be interesting, and at first I was wondering why he wasn't saying anything about Feyre, but then I realized, as she said at the end of the book, but Feyre's got that bond to dangle over him and is like, you're not going to do anything that could cause any harm to her, so I'm going to play this out as long as possible. Lucien totally knows that she was not under any spell from Rysand, especially since he saw them in the clearing. I think he knew. From then, he's like, crap, these guys are together in a way, so. It makes me so sad how nobody knows this good side of Rysand except for his inner circle. Like, everyone in the world thinks of him as he is at the Court of Nightmares, and he does it to protect people. But it just makes me sad, because I want everyone to see how amazing he is. I wonder what's gonna happen with this Tamlin and Feyre thing, because at first, I thought the bond, like, that he could literally take out their mating bond, and I was like, how's that even possible? It's innate in them, it's like, they're each other. They can still love each other without this mating bond, like, even though the bond's gone, they're still mates, right? Like, isn't that how it would have to work? Because you can't just take away, like, how they feel about each other. But he's taken away their bargain, so now they still have their mating bond and they can talk back and forth, and I'm so excited. I thought this was going to be another scenario where they're not going to get to be together and they'll have no communication, and I hate when authors do that. So many authors have to take away one of the main, like, the love interest from each other, and I just want them to stay together. Stop separating. It's okay, because they've got that bond, and Feyre is the High Lady of the Night Court. They made it official, so they just, like, let this traitor. Now, she's actually a traitor now. There's a High Lady that's gonna be, like, groomed and pampered like someone in the Spring Court, and she can release all the secrets, and she can make Tamlin make all these wrong decisions, and that's gonna be super cool to see because he's a jerk. So, I was looking at the books coming out for this online, and it said that there were originally gonna be 3, but then it said there are gonna be 3. So, like, whenever I was reading this sentence, it said, originally it set out to be 3, and now there are going to be 3 additionally or something like that. So are there going to be 6 books or is it 3 books? It was worded really weirdly and I couldn't figure out if it was just going to be just 3 or if it was going to be a 6-book series, because that'd be awesome. These books are written so well and I can never put them down. I'm using every spare second to read them, and I hope that there's going to be 6, because I would love to just keep reading these books. I want Sarah J. Maas to write books until I die so that I can just always have her books to read. Can't really think of anything else to talk about. I know there's probably a ton that I'm just sort of skipping over, but I just wanted to talk about the parts that really, like, spoke out to me. I hope you enjoyed watching this review and discussion. Leave me your thoughts on the book below if you're ready for book 3 like I am, because we've got, like, a whole year basically to wait for it. So yeah, I hope you all have a fabulous day. Thumbs up this video if you liked it, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Bye!